sourced over 600 deals. We managed to get married and have a baby in between as well.
Don't be a jack of all trades. Don't have the shiny penny syndrome.
Can you believe that it took me this long to purchase this property while I'm in the hot tub?
Pulled up the sale, took this property into auction.
Oh, really?
We were fuming.
600 deals is great, but raising 9 million from investment. 600 deals done there, or sourced, so they say. Hannah and George Dugard Property. Thanks for coming down to lovely Swansea.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. It's been a great day going around your sites.
Yeah, it's been great, and we've had so much conversations through the sites that I'm sorry to have to do it all over again now. so we can actually capture it, it's real. No, but seriously, what you guys have done is impressive. For I've known George and then obviously yourself, Hannah, since it must have been either 4 or 5 years now, when we were both at the NatWest Accelerator program. Young whippersnappers trying to make it live. George didn't even have face with it back then. No. I see him this morning. I was like, who's that?
Yeah.
The hard 5 years.
Yeah. It's all the stress, mate. Yeah.
Definitely hairlines receded. Definitely grown.
No, we was talking earlier, weren't we, about going off to Turkey?
Convincing. But no, thanks for coming on. For the benefit, can you just give the audience, an overview of who you are and who is Dugard Property?
Do you want to go?
Yep. Okay, so George and I started in property back in 2019. We opened as Dugard Property. Our primary focus back then was to source deals for clients, source investment deals. We very quickly honed in on the buy, refurbish, refinance model to single lets. A few months in, then we started raising finance, so we opened up our own portfolio then. So fast forward to where we are now. Yeah, like you said, we've sourced over 600 deals. We've built quite a decent sized portfolio for ourselves, and we've just started venturing into development.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and apart from that, all I'd say is we've pretty much, we'll go on to this, but we've pretty much dabbled in every strategy.
Yeah.
And one thing, we'll go on to it, but one thing that is very key is focus. That's what we like.
Yeah. We managed to get married and have a baby in between as well.
I mean, yeah, congratulations. But I mean, just holding on that 600 deals in such a short time, that is incredible. We've not done 600 deals. So that must have been a lot of, headspace, hard work, ups and downs. I mean, how do you manage that?
Well, it's a strong mindset, isn't it? It's a lot of self-development.
It is now. I think it's been a very rocky ride from the beginning, because you go on the highs and then you come out. We always talk about how property's like a roller coaster. Yeah. The mood is literally like this, isn't it? It's so
bipolar.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. And I mean, we've been through burnout. We wanted to quit so many times. Yeah. Like, one of us is done, the other one isn't. We carry each other through. It's
that's
definitely
nice.
I think that's the good having the partnership. We do bounce. It's always, we've never been at the same time. I don't think we've always bounced off each other.
Well, that's good. I'm schizophrenic, it feels like. I'm down and want to quit, and I have the other half of my brain is like, come on. And then I'm having these conversations with myself. So it's nice that you can actually do that with someone real.
Yeah. Well, I do it in my own brain as well. Yeah. So yes, loads of different personalities going on.
Yeah. But so obviously you've got the machine now. It's a well-oiled business. So doing that quantum of deals. I know, because I know you personally in the industry as well. You've got a very good reputation. You've got a great investor database. Contacts coming to you in terms of opportunities off market. From somebody starting new, looking up to a company like that, it's exciting, but also daunting and thinking you could never do that. But I remember you when you were just started. So, looking back now, what advice would you give to younger George and her?
Oh, go on.
One key bit of advice I would say is social media is absolutely phenomenal. And pretty much what we said earlier as well. I'd say our biggest bit of advice that we always give to everyone is don't be a jack of all trades. Don't have the shiny penny syndrome. You need to think of what's going to get you to your goals and knuckle down on that and just have laser vision focus. And that's how you get somewhere. We laser vision focused on BRR single lets. Yeah. We wanted to do everything. We wanted to do rent to rent.
We did do everything.
We did, and it didn't go very well.
No.
We wanted to do project management, mentoring, BRR, rent to rent, rent to service, everything. And we went, right, actually, this is getting a bit too crazy now. We're actually not achieving anything.
So this golden multiple streams of revenue.
Yeah, networking events, just every single time someone was like, oh, we just made this on a commercial conversion. Right, we'll do one of them, we'll do a course.
We did it on a commercial course. And it's like we were working from the moment we opened our eyes, the moment we went to sleep, and weekends. we had like no life, but then at the same time we wasn't really moving forward in the business either. We were just like Groundhog Day constantly. It was like and at the moment we started cutting the things we didn't like and really honed in on that one.
Be our artist outlets. Now, because we've systemised that with the team, we have moved on to other strategies, but we had to systemise that first.
Yeah, you've nailed that. Like you said, it is that the machine type of thing. You know, the business runs itself. You've got a good team in place. You have the opportunities coming through. You're known for it. You can do it, and then it gives you that headspace to move on. But I think everyone scaling in the industry does that. As I've mentioned a couple of times, because it's the conversation we've had today. But you know, do as I say and not as I do. I've done exactly the same. I've been through all of the strategies as well, you know, because going through it, you're like, because it's so hard in the early days, you're always looking and instinctively think
something else is better
and quicker,
easier,
easier.
Because you speak to somebody and they might not tell you the full extent that I've just made $500,000 on this project.
Yeah.
Well, they forgot to tell you is it took them 4 years and they've been divorced.
And that was the gross profit, and actually the net is very different.
Exactly, that was gross profit. They didn't charge themselves a salary. But that's exactly what I found. And it's so easy to get involved in all of these different rabbit holes, and then all of a sudden you look back up and you're in the same place. Just a lot more stressed.
100%.
What was that turning point for you? How did that happen? Can you remember? Was anything pivotal?
So that one of cutting back everything we did at the beginning, there was a few things, I think. One was our enjoyment. We really took a step back and was like, we're doing stuff we don't enjoy here. There's people who we can outsource this to, who can do it better. And we can make more money if we streamline it. What we found is at the very beginning, we were doing a pure bespoke model for sourcing. So we would speaking to every investor, getting their parameters, and that was making a search high and low for a full range of things, until we realised actually a lot of investors were asking for the same thing. It gradually started morphing itself into the BLR model. And then we said, we've got so many lined up now, and so many wants the same thing, we should move to a mailing list model. So we didn't, when that started working, we purely stuck to that. And then I think when we started the mentorship as well and said we were doing all of this,
it wasn't so time intensive then going back to the mailing list, was it? And I remember when I first met, when we were with each other quite a lot, you said to me, why do you do the project management? Like, is there a point? Why don't you just put all your time from that into your sourcing? And that just sort of, I sat on that for a little bit, like, because we were still doing it and there was a lot of having to get out of the project management, because we were in with a lot of people doing it. But it sat with me, and then as soon as you introduced us to Jackie and Dave, who are our mentors now, they went, right, we need to strip back a lot here. And they stripped it back, and then we were just like, right, why didn't we do this ages ago? Now we're seeing results, we're seeing profits,
it was fear of we were fearful that people were buying our deals because we were project managing, and that was a separate income stream as well. So we were like, well, if we remove that element, are people still going to buy deals, because they're all remote investors? And actually, after we did the first few, we were like, oh, we should have done this a very long time ago.
And you know, Jack and Dave are fantastic people. They've helped me massively along, so I have utmost respect to them. Great what they do. And then, but that is quite interesting, because you know, you would say logically, why would somebody buy if you're not going to project manage? Like, if an investor that lives in Reading buys a house from you in Wales, you know, surely they want the complete package. But obviously, you're making an assumption without testing it. So then you eventually test it, and how do they, just out of curiosity, then how do they do that? And they buy a deal from you. How do they manage it?
We help set them up. But they're passed on to third party project managers or builders, and they'll work directly with them rather than.
Because that's the real stressful bit, surely.
Yeah. So we pretty much book the survey for them, review the survey, pull out everything that needs to be done, create a full schedule of works, and then we pass that on to the builder. And then we get the build quote, we review the build quote and do any negotiations we need to do, and then we set them up. And then we're like, right, now you're off with your project manager, or you're off with a builder who can project manage themselves. And that's the stage where we go, right, now that's our responsibility done. We tested it, didn't we? And to be honest with you, there wasn't much transition. It was literally tested, right, they're still selling, fine.
And in terms of the back end letters management, do you do that for them as well, or do you not?
We introduce them to, so what we tend to say to clients is, when they come to the end of their refurbishment, link back in with us, and we'll kind of just relook at the market to tell you what to put into your valuation, your mortgage valuation, and we'll introduce you to letting agents.
So like an advisor for them, that like helpline, and because you've got the local knowledge, which agency's working well, what rents are you seeing.
And because back at the very beginning as well, we saw this oh my God, we can build our own ecosystem. Let's open a lettings arm. Let's open a construction
we wanted
company,
everything,
and we'll feed the full circle. Thank God we didn't. I wouldn't be here today if we did.
Yeah. Well, I know a few people who still do that and trying to do the full ecosystem, and it is mega stressful.
Yeah.
Like the theory of it's great, but it is mega stressful. So no, well done on that. So now your sourcing business, obviously, like I said, it's running well, and you're also doing developments yourself there.
Yes.
So like, what is the focus on developments? What are you mainly working on? What are you trying to do with it?
So we've currently we've just finished one. We've got 5 flat conversions on, which are currently either commercial buildings or residential houses, which we've converted into multiple units. One of them we've added value through putting a coach house at the rear of the garden.
Great.
And to be honest, that's pretty much it. What we do with them is we develop them and then sell them on.
You're going to sell it, so you're not going to look to keep these then?
We've looked to keep one in the valleys, haven't we?
We kept them one, sorry.
We have kept 3 units.
The Cardiff one.
But all the ones in Cardiff, they're all being developed to sell on. It's good for cash flow.
Yeah. And you've built quite a good portfolio as well over the years, because again, you only really started doing that about 4+ years ago.
Yeah.
So, which is really admirable to you all. And again, just linking back to the people who may be watching this, they're probably going to be in jobs like you was.
Yeah.
I know, like when I met you, George, you were still working full time. And the big goal for you back then, I remember, was, want to get Hannah working full time in business. What's the key thing that comes to mind from everything you've learned for somebody that watching this who's in a job, wants to get in property? What would be like the first key steps they should be doing?
It's such a good question. So I left my corporate job in January of 2021, so literally like 3 years ago. I think the one piece of advice I always want to give is you get those risk takers who are happy to just leave their job. I've decided I'm doing property, I'm leaving, but don't think of the consequence. They don't think of, your affordability to get a mortgage or your credibility to move forward. So I think there needs to be a thought out phased plan on how it'll financially work and not actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Harm them by doing more than good. But I think advice would be it sounds like I'm contradicting myself now, but actually take the risk, start taking the action to do it.
Yeah.
Don't just talk about it, find a way to make it work around the job you've already got. Because if I was working evenings and we were working weekends, weren't we? I know you were obviously doing through the week.
I would say the key parts from that beginning stage for us was there was a few bits. It was definitely social media. It was definitely networking and getting ourselves out there as much as we possibly. We networked all the time, didn't we? It was pretty much. We were actually knackered from going out every evening, just networking.
Was it mainly local, or was you going across the country?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
We were pretty much everywhere.
We did quite a few further away.
Yeah, we were in Birmingham, London.
We did them, yeah.
Was
We networked.
that for a specific? Was that just to learn about, or was you going to those networking events for any particular reason?
So the local ones, I'd say we were doing for education and more networking in terms of meeting builders and contacts. I think the ones further away, the ones further away for actual clients
and invest, for the investors, And to be honest, what we learned most of our stuff though from YouTube, didn't we? Yeah, we learned most of our stuff from YouTube videos and reading books as well and podcasts and stuff. Yeah,
amazing.
Nothing really came. Well, we didn't do any courses back then, did we?
No. We wouldn't spend a penny.
No, we wouldn't spend a penny. Everything was so strict tight back then.
And that was Accelerator was free as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And George had obviously moved from the Isle of Wight, so he was unemployed, which is what made us take the leap to open the business, because we didn't really have anything to lose. But George moved in with me and my parents and my sister, and that was carnage.
Yeah, that was.
We were literally so strict on money that everything was free crash courses, really.
Free crash courses as much as we possibly could, and then just videos and podcasts and networking, wasn't it? Yeah.
Wow, amazing. No, because again, I've watched from a distance for some part of it, the journey. So, I can attest to it all. It's great. And, when you saying you just moved from the Isle of Wight, so getting into property, it's good luck, George. And we've done incredibly well. It's great. And I know it's going to be inspirational for people watching as well. But I know those key questions are going to be how can I get started? What can I do about it? But from your business, then, looking at because I don't know if you've seen as well, but the industry is moving at quite a fast pace. Obviously, you've built your business through COVID, through high inflation, through a lot of challenges. Do you have any insights, or what do you, and through high interest rates, What do you see the next couple of years looking like from a property point of view? What market trends you've seen at the moment?
I'll let you answer that one.
So I'm going to let you answer that one.
This is the thing with this.
$1 million question.
I never know what the answers is. Well, never know what to answer that question because there's just so many different. I say one thing and then the other thing happens.
But we've been speaking about it a lot recently, haven't we?
So basically, whatever you say, do the opposite.
Yeah. We've been speaking about it a lot recently, and you can see interest rates starting to come down. You can see, there's talks now of 99% mortgages or wherever they're going to be. There's going to be a lot more stimulus to get buyers back into the market. So I think in terms of property in general, the supply and demand, I think demand's going to rush back. I think everyone started to get a bit weary.
We've seen it firsthand, like rushing back. We're having competition now, aren't we?
Last year we were literally like, where are the investors? Everyone was like, I'm holding out, I'm not ready to reinvest yet. And now all of a sudden we've got people messaging like, can you tell me first if you've got a deal? Like, I'm ready to go.
Our deals are currently selling. If they sell over 2 hours, we're shocked.
Yeah.
Really?
Within 2 hours, there's been investors snapped it up already.
Scaremongering's gone, right? Yeah. So everyone wants to buy again. Interest rates and stuff's coming down. So inevitably what will happen is the prices will go back up because the prices have dropped. So I think competition will ramp back up. But I think where we operate, obviously in the valleys as well, the prices really peaked, didn't they? Mm-hmm. I think they've come down. But I think they've stabilised. I don't think they're going to keep coming down. I think they're going to stabilise. And they'll probably, I reckon,
values were definitely inflated through COVID though, and now they've I think they've corrected.
So much money got pumped into the valley. I know so many people who took on 0% debt and managed to buy properties with them.
Some of our properties are definitely like we got them valued at like 165 in a certain area, and I know for a fact they're not worth 165. The comparables were there, and they had to use them. But I know that now they're probably 145. But this is what I mean. You've got to look long term, haven't you? We've fixed it for 5 years. In 5 years' time, we'll definitely be fine. So you've just got. This is what I mean. You've got to look long term in investing in property, haven't you? You've got to look over.
Yeah, all of my properties have appreciated definitely. There might be short term blips, but. I've witnessed firsthand what a portfolio can do if you hold it over time. This is why, for me personally, it does slightly pain me that we sell everything. And does it pain you when you sell?
We hardly sell. We hardly sell. Yeah. So the conversions that we sell normally then just cover money that we've left in deals in terms of like the buy-to-let portfolio.
Part of a balanced strategy. You need the money from somewhere to use in others. Yeah.
And the sourcing company pretty much, our profits from there. We extract some of them to fund our money left in deals as well. So
you're constantly reinvesting then?
Yeah.
Always. Everything's out all the time.
Yeah.
If it's in our bank, we're just sort of like, it's neat.
Well, if it's in the bank, I book holidays. So George is like, it has to go back somewhere else.
Because you're avid travellers as well, aren't you?
Yeah, we love travelling.
Is there any place in the world you've not seen yet?
There are a few places that are on our bucket list, aren't there?
We're trying to plan a load for this year.
I've seen you put a story up with
our calendar.
You had more holidays on there than being in the UK. I thought you were going for non-dom status or something. For tax,
Making up for the year that I was pregnant and we hardly went away.
Yeah. I looked at that and I thought to myself, oh my God. I literally said, oh my God. I didn't say it, but I said it to myself.
Yeah. We're going for the nomad lifestyle this year because we've booked a villa in Spain for 6 weeks, but we're going to be working. So you'll have seen this nice little pink calendar. We're taking the dog and we're taking the baby and we will be working.
Laptop lifestyle.
Exactly. Yes, so we're trialing it.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like we do love what we do. So, even when we're away and we're doing things and we're travelling around, seeing new things, doing new things, we're still living the lifestyle of work and...
Well, we were on our honeymoon. Do you remember? The other year we were on our honeymoon and we were trying to negotiate or manage buying this property through auction because of how annoying.
In a hot tub.
Yeah, we were sat in
Mykonos.
How annoying.
Oh, this sounds like a first world problem. Can you believe that it took me this long to purchase this property while I'm in the hot tub?
No, we'd purchased a property in Cardiff. We were going through the legal process. We'd put our planning in. Seller was happy for us to wait. We were planning to complete once planning got in. It was like conditional.
Yeah.
Then the seller realised we got planning, pulled out the sale, took this property into auction.
Oh, really?
We were fuming.
Did you not have a legal position on?
Yeah, and we learned our lesson there. But we
got planning on someone else's land for them?
Yeah, but then we went and bought it through auction anyway.
Did you?
So we
won. At a similar price, and what was it?
It was. We ended up getting it before the auction went live. So it got advertised, but we had the pre-auction now.
Yeah.
I was fuming.
Was it a similar price, or did you end up paying more?
We paid
About 40 grand more, wasn't it?
when you include all the auction fees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was about that, yeah. It was definitely
But we learned we learned a lot of lessons
Yeah,
over
a lot of
the years.
lessons.
Honestly, I think everybody will, because I've had a very similar deal where I agreed a price, I shook their hand, I moved forward and I did some work. I didn't get a full legal position on it, and then I upgraded the property and obviously added the value, and then they pulled out the deal. I had no legal agreement, and then had to negotiate with them a new purchase price. The new purchase price they wanted was market value, even though and we're talking relatively big numbers here now.
Yeah.
North of $500,000.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit disappointing. I ended up agreeing a new deal, but the total cost impact to me for doing that and not getting a legal position before moving forward was 150,000 difference in price.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's hard.
See, we can smile about these things now.
Yeah, you've got to though. You've got to smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many. Like you've just got to see everything that's a challenge as a lesson.
Yeah.
And it's like, right, if I did that again, I'm actually a bit of an idiot. But I've learned my mistake now.
Yeah, it's this, exactly. If you just make the same mistake twice, then there's a problem. But it's incalculable how many mistakes you are gonna and can make, because it's a diverse world, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
People, relationships, you trust people. Market goes against you, planning goes against you. But then in hindsight says, oh well, there was this red flag, should have known about. But I don't know if you're anything like me. I'm an optimist. I'm a glass half full type of person. I see the good in things. I see a deal and I see what we can do with it.
Yeah.
Not the 100. I put a story up on my Instagram. So, coming soon, ... If it survives the 100 plus pitfalls, it'll probably survive. Because that's what it's like, isn't it?
You said earlier, the deal can die and be revived within the hour.
Yeah.
So,
Me and obviously Devon, who we just met, we had to buy our land. Yeah, it's literally like that. We have deals that die and come back to life all the time. And you have to, I guess, do you reckon building this business has changed your mental, durability, resilience?
100%.
yeah.
100%.
Definitely.
Like challenges just come and go now. Like they just come and right, thanks.
You're
Goes back up. And you just look at solutions, don't you? You just go, right, there's the problem.
Yeah.
Right now, how are we going to solve it? If a team brings a problem, right, okay, what's your solution? And we'll work on it.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I think you learn to remove the emotion.
Yeah.
So before you would want to react emotionally to something, or you'd feel a certain way.
Sometimes
and
you
now
do have to take a step away, don't you? So you don't act emotionally.
It doesn't matter. Just give us the facts. How do we fix it?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I kid you not, I had an email yesterday that, one of the deals out of all the ones we're working on, I'm trying to do something with it, and I had an email and it's not really going my way. And I had this burst of emotion that I wanted to respond very emotionally. And, I started replying, and I drafted something and deleted it, and then I just said,
you.
Yeah. No, I don't do it though. I don't reply. I'm like, Hannah.
no, I didn't reply.
Yeah.
I didn't reply. And then I stood away then, and then I said to myself, what's the logical play here? It's like, that's, and then just wait for that emotion to die down.
Yeah.
Because they say you should never make decisions in an emotional state.
No.
Never.
It's been hard the past couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
It is emotional day.
And we are such different people. Actually, we're very similar, but we're very different at the same time. And we always seem to have different opinions on things.
Oh, definitely.
So
Anything to do with the business growth or the structure of the business, we have a different opinion on how things should be
and
done.
how we react.
Yeah.
So, something will come in, and George will want to react one way, I want to react the other way. We end up taking the emotion out on each other, and then we're like, right, okay, let's respond.
It comes back to that's really good as a business partner, bouncing off each other for that, for sure. But I find it quite impressive that you still managed to scale up and even get busier and bigger whilst being together as a couple with a child as well. I mean, what is the secret behind that? So I don't think I could do that.
We've been asked this loads of times, haven't we?
Yeah.
I think a key thing for us is when we do decide that there's time that we need to take away from the business, we do take that away. If it's an evening, we do sort of go, right, that's enough. If we want to have the evening off, and if it's the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays we don't work.
Yeah.
We might, if it's the odd thing, if we enjoy that task, we might do it.
Yeah.
But really, Saturdays and Sundays is our time, isn't it? And it's present with Arthur as well.
Yeah.
I think that's key, is having the time away from the business as well as in the business, isn't it?
I think it took us a while to really establish our roles within the business and how to work with each other, especially because of we gave back our office last year. We turned to a full remote team.
Okay.
So that
work
made
from home.
so that made it even harder to be like work and home because of where do you
work is home.
So we tried to put really like set parameters in place. I think with Arthur, I think everything's perspective though, right? And I had like this light bulb moment, didn't I, the other week? Like one of my friends has also got a baby, not long after Arthur, and she's already dreading going back to work. Whereas I really resented at the beginning when I gave birth to Arthur that I think I'd in my head I was going to be out for brunch all the time. I wasn't working at all. I was going to live like this amazing year.
And I was going to pick up all the pieces.
And George was going to do it all. And I was just going to be with my friend and we were going to be out all the time. And I think a week, maybe 2 weeks max, and I was back on site. So I was on calls, I was doing emails. And actually, looking back, the perspective now is, well, actually it's better because of he's actually with us all day, every day. He comes to sites with us. He's on phone calls.
You won't see that on our YouTube videos or site visits.
No, we left him at home today. But my perspective is actually like he fits into our world. So we've just made it work. And I mean, we went on a 3-week road trip to Italy with him when he was 10 weeks old. Like
that was really brave.
We were brave, weren't we, to be honest. It was a hell of an experience, especially the car journey.
You hated cars at that time.
So like earplugs in the whole way, was it?
Honestly, we tried to avoid the road trip.
Well, we've been put off the road trips for now, haven't we? I think he's much better.
Trying to go to an American road trip in April, but
he's much better now, though, isn't he? He's actually okay in the car. So.
Yeah, good. Yeah, well, like I said, I find it incredible for that point of view. But going forward then, with Dugard Property, obviously, next level then, what is it? What's the key big next step for you?
So for Dugard Property, we've sort of kept that at the same sort of profit for, I would say, 2 years, haven't we? We've sort of kept it at that.
It has grown, but we haven't
ever so slightly. We haven't
naturally because we've been pushing it.
Yeah. I think our goals for this year, where we want to be 20% profit margin uplift, and we want to be getting around about 120 deals this year, isn't it? In the sourcing company. To be honest with you, that's pretty much it for Dugard Property.
Yeah.
Most of our growth and where we want things to really be accelerating is in our portfolio business. So within Dugard Holdings side of things. I think that may change with Hannah's excitement over the developments. That it might even change a bit more in the holding side of things. But
I did try putting her off today.
Didn't work.
But yeah, Dugard Property. To be honest, 20% growth and 120 deals about that. This I would say this year. Yeah,
with very little involvement from us.
Yes, that's another thing.
Got it systemised.
It's pretty much systemised. We're just an advisory role on certain things.
Yeah. Fantastic. So then with a combination of holidays and then also self-development as well, training?
Yeah.
Always
I think that's a key thing for us this year and something that we're looking into, what we can book onto really, what we can get involved in.
Mm-hmm.
Because you both read quite a lot as well, don't you? We're still at least looking at industry trends and doing constant analysis. Is that right? You big into self-development at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's we do we actually work a lot on our self-development with our mentors through their learnings. They do a lot of that and pass it on to us. We listen to podcasts. We still read books, watch YouTube videos, and I do a lot of I was speaking to you about it. I pretty much just get the summary book reviews from YouTube, but they're really good to get the key points, which is really useful as well. But I feel like we not as much of the learning as we used to, but self-development we're still very strong on.
Yeah, good. No, amazing. I'm a big believer of self-development. There's this, like you mentioned, how you started up from YouTube videos, books, etc. One of the biggest. That's how I started this company as well. I'm not from a construction background. It was mainly through books and learning as much as possible, and then just doing deals and bringing the team on, etc. And obviously we've built to a stage now with, quite a strong team and which do vast majority of the work. And yeah, we're on obviously this mission, and I keep learning every day from that as well. But so do you see your team size growing at all, or are you looking to keep that stable and then just focus on doing kind of more developments, I suppose, as they come up. Is that about right?
Yeah, it's such a. I keep changing my mind. Like one day I'm like, right, we're going to really streamline. We've got a fairly small team. We're going to really streamline so we can really maximise our margins, and we'll utilise the team that we've got to continue to grow in the areas. Because at the moment we predominantly use the team within Dugard Property, with a little bit of support in Dugard Holdings, but that's mainly George and I driving there. So we're focusing on spreading them across the two companies and really ramping up that way. But then, I don't know if we'll end up, I guess it depends what avenue we go down. Like we've spoken about, if we do kind of developments in like a similar structure to what you do end up needing a larger team for various factors. But if we go down other avenues...
The thing is I think to hit our goals of this year, which is to get to a situation where we are complete net profit cash flow per month in our holdings company of £15,000. That's just after everything, after maintenance, voids, management, everything, 15 grand. And then obviously our sourcing company bringing in an extra 20% profit margin on that. To get there, I think the team we've got is very good.
Would you see that as like your fundamental foundation? Like once you know you've got 15,000 a month coming in recurring, net, that there is kind of box ticked off as foundation sorted.
Yeah.
And do whatever you want to do now.
Exactly. We did an exercise where it was like, what's our lifestyle? Where do we want our lifestyle to be? Like, what exactly do we want from this? And we put it all on a piece of paper, and we're like, right, that's great. What do we need to fund that?
That's a great. So how did you do that then? Because that is great. Because there's so many people I speak to, they don't know exactly what they want or how big they need to go or what strategy to focus on or business model. And obviously it all comes back down to trying to get more clear on what it is you want.
It's always the end goal, right?
Yeah.
And people always forget to start and work backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what you did. So in terms of your lifestyle then, did you do that independently or did you do it together? Or
together.
Together.
It was an exercise we did. We were literally together in the office, and we kind of just said to each other, right, at the end of this year, at the end of 3 years, at the end of 5 years, write down what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
And we both did it, and actually there was a lot of similarities.
From like a personal point of view.
Yeah, we both did it away from each other, didn't we? Yeah,
and
we did.
Yeah. And then we came back together, and then kind of merged them, and then from there just started calculating, right, how much to rent the house, how much we wanted to start spending money, our travel money is this, that, and the other. And we did it for both business and personal, and then kind of between that built the goal, and then worked backwards to how we get there.
Yeah.
And then did it in sort of like a phase of like, right, there's the goal. Right now we need to break it down into rocks. Breaking it down into what have we got to do every quarter to get to
those. Yeah. So for those listening, what is a rock?
So you've got like this ultimate goal, and then you've got the rocks. We call it rocks per quarter, really, haven't we? And it's the rock. What is that rock? Whatever you got to achieve that quarter is going to make you those rocks build towards that ultimate goal.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you've got your pebbles, which are like your little tasks per week.
that go into the rock.
To build up, yeah.
But that concept of end goal, breaking it down, bite-sized chunks. So, as long as you hit this, and then do you have like a 90-day time, or how do you break that down again from a year? Do you know what you're working on for the next quarter? And do you have like a quarterly review or monthly review?
So we have both. So we've got quarterly targets. We've got obviously like monthly KPIs and stuff that roll up into them as well. So we'll have a monthly performance meeting where it's almost the team reporting back to us and what they've achieved.
Within Dugard Property.
Dugard Property,
Yeah.
So you get a monthly performance meeting in Dugard Property because you've already set the strategy, the objectives and the KPIs. You have a monthly meeting on that. Will you go for that?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we've got the quarterly review then where we roll that up, and as a quarter we report back to the team on performance and what the next quarter looks like and for the remainder of our year.
Any market changes, anything we've got to adapt to, all that sort of stuff.
We've started giving them insight into our Dugard Holdings stuff where they're starting to support us there.
Yep.
And then we'll have an end of year one then, which is a kind of a summary of the year, but more so a setup for the next year and the goal set.
And then in terms of Dugard Holdings, we do exactly the same, but we do it just with me and Hannah, but we are starting to bring the team in with us to Dugard Holdings now so we can get help support. Yeah.
Okay. Well, fascinating. Nice. So then for you, like you said, from your reverse engineer, that 15,000, that sets that out. And then you can focus on your kind of phase 2 or 3 or whatever phase you're on and for future development. For those listeners that said that maybe in a job, they're going to get into property or, they're at that transition stage, one big thing I found is people's mindset in terms of limiting beliefs is that if they've been in a job for 10 years that pays them 30,000 a year, you know, sometimes they don't actually believe that it's possible to get 10,000, but like 15,000 a month sounds like awfully lot of money for probably most people watching. Well, what advice would you say around that in terms of that limiting mindset?
I think one of the key things is being around people who are doing it.
Knowing it's possible.
Yeah, knowing it's possible, going and networking with people that have already done it, then you can believe that it's possible.
So,
also having mentors around you who are encouraging you and making you accountable. And if you are operating on your own, it's always nice to have a business partner as well. You know, we're really good at bouncing off each other.
just don't fall into that trap. I've seen at some of the
meet
networking
someone at an
events.
networking event, one of the JV
Yeah,
partner.
Yeah.
Would you like to be my business partner?
Yeah.
I just get a cup of tea or something.
Yeah, a support system, but don't just jump into bed with anyone.
No, definitely.
Yeah. Obviously, anybody who's gone through experiences would have had their fair share of business partnerships or JVs that haven't gone well. You seem to say that you've had those experiences as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and from my experience, when that's happened, it's normally been down to getting into it too quickly, not establishing and going through all the things of what happens if this goes wrong, people's responsibilities.
Yeah.
What are you generally bringing to the table?
Exactly. You can't just jump into it. It's got to be a lot of due diligence on that part. But some of the companies that you see and some of the people that are doing so well, they've got that bouncing off this business partner I found, and the way they've both flourished together.
Yeah, good. All right, amazing. Well, thanks for that. But back onto, like I said, once they've identified and been around those and realised it is actually possible that you can actually achieve £15,000 a month, you can actually build a business like this, and you get out there and you start learning, and you know you can do it without spending much money, but you've got to get out there, you've got to put the time and effort in, and then eventually when you're kind of ready, normally they don't have money. One of the big steps in building a business, which obviously you're very experienced in, is building investor relationships and raising money. So can you just talk about your journey on that, really? Because you've also raised, I know you got on, so was it 9 million? 9 million investment you raised? That's a phenomenal figure. I don't want to not mention that. You know, 600 deals is great, but raising 9 million from investment, that really is a skill set that normally once people have got that knowledge, the only thing holding them back now is access to funds.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think everyone has access to funds in some way, shape or form. I think people just don't have the confidence to go get it. Because I think the key thing is, if you know, if you can talk through why you need that money, what that money is going to do, what is the risk to that person, and how you're responsible to use that money, I mean, you're going to get that investment. If you don't know your stuff inside out and you can't explain it to someone and you can't tell them how you're going to protect their money, then of course you're not going to. But we've always said, if you've got a good deal, you will find finance for it.
Yeah, and we just found that we literally just documented everything we were doing on social media, just showed our capabilities and showed what we're doing, and be brutally honest as well. Like, oh, we fucked up on this deal and we've done well on this deal, and you just sort of you're so honest that people relate to you and they see your personality and they want to invest with you. And then it's pretty much after that it's just having a retention scheme, isn't it, and keeping that relationship, manage that relationship through.
So the golden question then, what comes first, the deal or the money? What would you say?
I think the deal.
The deal?
Yeah. It's difficult, isn't it? Both really. You want both.
You want your mind back now to when you just started.
So when we first started, we obviously started with sourcing. So we already had stuff so we could showcase that we knew what we were doing. I think if I was to start stripped back now and we didn't have anything, I would probably be reaching out to investors to start warming them up because of, even though you've got a brilliant deal, you're not going to just put a Facebook post out and go, I need £250,000, and someone goes, right, here you go. So you need to be on social media, I think, to start gaining those leads so you can start building up and having those conversations. And for those who are starting, who haven't actually done anything to showcase yet, people forget that you can put reels and videos out of what you've learned, what training you've done, what viewings you've been on, what you've seen at those viewings. You're still showing your knowledge. you're not going, here's my before and afters of a project I've done before. So there's still so much you can put out there. I would start, because at the beginning, you don't get a deal straight away and you don't get an investor straight away. So you're doing them in parallel to begin with.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, isn't a very good deal either.
Yeah.
It's your first with it.
Yeah. And then you get someone who like praises it and they're like, nah, like, that's not comparable.
You can get some brutal feedback.
In the starting stage.
It's when you've sent out a deal and it goes to somebody experienced and you miss something. Like that can be a little bit daunting as well.
We got humbled very quickly on one of our ones before, didn't we, at the very beginning?
Yeah, we thought, oh, this is a brilliant deal. Look at this comparable. Look at it. And then there's someone come along and they were just like, that's not comparable. Like that's just not. And then we were just sort of wanted to be like, yeah, it is. And then we just started looking at, no, it's not actually. No.
That's where you learn the quicker. But answering your question, how I would personally do it, I'd be on my viewings. I'd be looking for my deal. I'd probably be documenting my viewings and what I'm learning. I'd be on phone to investors. I would try to secure an investor with like a heads of terms with an amount they were willing to lend at what interest rate. So at least they're locked in. That gives you confidence to then really offer, because then you can bring them together.
Interesting. So deal first, money first. Interesting.
Yeah, see, I'm going to give another...
You work well together.
I'm going to give another point of view. I think the best thing to do if you're getting started is start to learn all the stuff about sourcing the deal. Find a sourcer who's already doing it. Try and learn as much as you can from them. Find deals for them and get them to appraise the deals, give you feedback, and you both make money out of it. And then you start to learn, but you get the deal first. Document what you're doing on social media, and then have that social media in the background. Then you can start to bring your investors in as you're going.
So anyone finds a deal in Wales, send it to Dugard. No, great advice. That really was great advice. Leads us on nicely though, because the emphasis has been the marketing and the strategy of marketing. And one of the final points I want to talk about, you mentioned at the beginning, and you just mentioned again now. As you said, if you just started out, I suppose from like story points of views, how can you? People say all the time the value of social media, the value of marketing is there. Have you got any examples or any reasons why you're saying that as well? Why is it such a good or critical part of business?
One of our biggest funders, who funded all our developments in Cardiff, was through LinkedIn.
Really?
And he approached me and basically said, I can see all that you're doing. It looks very good. Can we have a meeting? So there's one massive example.
I was from LinkedIn.
Instagram. One of our, and who's invested probably 1.5 to 2 million. Instagram, just seeing us and it'd be nice to have a call.
Wow.
Yeah. We had another one who invested a lot to begin with. He had just sold his business for 10 million, and he got actually introduced to. Well, he got told about us at a networking event, but then he followed us on social media to see what we're up to for a couple of months before approaching us. So it's just people watching you, and you don't know they're watching you. And then all of a sudden, a year down the line, they've been watching you, and they're like, actually, I'm ready to invest now. And they've been following you. They've been seeing everything you're doing and just watching you.
Yeah.
And I think with social media, even though you don't know that person, they actually feel like they know you. Because if they see your face and the way you're speaking and your body language, they do. Like, we've been at networking events. Someone's like,
already,
exactly. Those touch points, they've already had however many.
I have that too. And people have come up to me, and this is more than one occasion, and then full on straight with a conversation, like I know them.
Yeah.
I've never met them.
But then you're questioning, you're like, have I forgotten this person? Like, do I know their name?
So they're like, oh, Dorian. I'm like, oh my God. Something, either I've really hit my head. But then, it turns out that they've been watching me for months.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I've met them. But they know so much about me. They've listened to my podcast, they've listened to my radio shows I've been on, and just seen the content. And you're like, wow, it's, we're friends.
Yeah. The issue is when people are messaging you, like there's a lot of people who are like almost just message us all the time and always liking our things and stuff. But you can't go through every person that's messaging you and go on their profile and study them either, can you?
You must get a lot of messages during and I don't know, but we get quite a lot of messages as well, and it can be difficult sometimes just to keep on track of them all. Yeah, for sure. But it's hard to do that level of research, I suppose, on all the people who are messaging.
Exactly.
So they know you, but you might not know them.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that naturally happens where you're at a networking event, someone comes into you and goes, oh, hi, George, and you're just like, hello. Come on, where did I meet you? You're just trying to think in your head, like, am I missing something here? But no, that's how amazing it is, and that's the powerful part of social media.
No, definitely, and it's great for those stories there about investment. Really emphasises, the impact on that. And look, we have the same as well. But I think the daunting thing is if you're new and you're starting, if I try to cast my mind back from everything we're saying, it can be, you've got that big mountain of learning in front of you. You don't really know what you're doing. You don't really know how to market it. But you guys are living proof. I'm living proof that if it is possible, you just got to know what you want to do.
And be yourself.
And be yourself.
And be yourself.
It's so important as well. Like social media is so powerful for the consumer as well. Like just following someone who's 2 steps ahead of you, it's just amazing, isn't it? Just to watch that person doing something that you want to do and just follow them all the time. So, being a consumer is really important as well as being the one who documents as well.
Well, I think you guys have got such a fascinating story, and anybody listening is going to get value from just being connected with you. So, to get connected with you, what is the best way?
So I would pretty much say if I don't know really. What would you say is the best way? Dugard Property on
media.
Yeah, so with the Dugards on social media.
The Dugards on social media.
The Dugards on
the LinkedIn.
Yeah, the Dugards on Instagram, TikTok, George Dugard on LinkedIn. If you're looking to get in contact with our sourcing company, we're through an email information at dugards-property.co.uk. Pretty much the same.
Thank you for spending the time with me today. Thanks for coming around the sites. Great having conversations with you throughout the day. And I really look forward to keeping an eye on your journey and helping each other grow along the way.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you.